guys, welcome to a rather later than usual Friday Waffle. If I fall asleep, you'll need to excuse me. I'm actually just back from I went out for a really nice Italian meal. It's my wife's birthday today, so we went to our favourite Italian restaurant in a little place called Mid Calder. Just me, Tracy and Ava. So I'm absolutely stuffed. I really am. So I'll probably be having an early night after this. So you've probably noticed, I just angled the chair around. I've just turned it slightly to give you slightly, well, I wouldn't say a better angle as such, but just something a wee bit different. So anyway, listen, I've got an absolute pile of questions. So before I start, thank you very, very much to everybody. I mean, let me just quickly count. I'm not going to count the individual questions. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 people giving me questions, which is just bloody awesome. It really is. So thank you so much for taking the time to do it. I know I did say if I had too many questions, I would not answer them all if it was going to run on too much, but I'm just going to run with it. If it lasts an hour and a half, then so be it. So I've deliberately not got anything. I've only got one thing I want to mention off my own before I start the questions. So yeah, just I hope you've all had an alright week. The usual, I've been very busy. I had an absolute fantastic Saturday, last Saturday. One of my friends is across from the States. He's an old school pal. So he's been across, he's got a wedding, I think it's tomorrow. So last Saturday, him, his brother and my mate Tommy, we went through to Edinburgh, and there's the 7 hills of Edinburgh. There's apparently 7 hills in Edinburgh, all with names. There's Kirstofan Hill, there's Colton Hill, there's Arthur's Seat, there's Edinburgh Castle. What's the other one called? Doesn't matter. Anyway, so we ran round all the hills. It was like 18 miles in total, and it was really bizarre because most of my running is in woods, along trails, that kind of stuff, but we're actually running up the Royal Mile. We ran across the bridge and up the Royal Mile, up to what do you call it, Edinburgh Castle. It's just bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre running up. All these tourists are looking at us thinking, what the hell are these plonkers getting up to? But really good, really enjoyed it. Pretty tired at the end of it, but I'm happy to think, or to say that I think my running is starting to kind of fall into place. I'm not as fit as I would like to be. I mean, I've got the big West Highland Way race in the 23rd of June, which is about 5 weeks away, I think it is. So my fitness isn't where it should be, but I think I've turned the corner as far as issues. But then you can never tell. It's, you can easily go over an ankle. Anything can happen between now and then. So the thing for me is keeping running and getting to the start line in one piece. I'll be delighted with that. So yeah, I was out running last Saturday. What else have I been doing? I was at my guitar club on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. And that's been it, really. That has been it. What have I been doing computer game wise? I was doing something. I can't remember what I was doing. I was playing the PlayStation. Been playing a bit of Polybius on the PS4. Anything else? I can't remember. I've been quite busy making videos as well, because what I try and do, like probably most of the YouTubers, is I try and stockpile a few. I'm talking about maybe 3 or 4 videos that I've done, and then I'll just be able to release them over a couple of weeks. But I'd ran out of videos last week, so I thought I need to try and get some more done. So I've been putting a few together, so I'm kind of getting there with that. But that's been it. But anyway, listen, I'm going to batter on. The only one thing that I'm going to mention before I start the questions. Now, I've mentioned this quite a few times. The ZX Spectrum Next, or is it just called the Spectrum Next? It's a brand new Spectrum, but I like to call it a turbocharged Spectrum. It's got HDMI, it's got more colours, it's got better sound, its outputs via HDMI. It's basically a supercharged Spectrum, and I mean it's, well, in fact, it's not that. It's a brand new computer, but it will be 100% compatible with the original Spectrum games, your 128 games, your 48K games. It's a Kickstarter. I usually run a mile when anything to do with Kickstarter, but I think, am I right in thinking that you'll only get your money taken off once you hit the target, which in the case of this, they've done it. I mean, I think they were wanting £250,000. They're over £500,000, which is just insane. But one of my, one of the guys, Jim Bagley, who is a renowned Spectrum programmer. I mean, I've interviewed Jim. In fact, I was actually talking to him tonight before I went out for a meal. I was telling him that I've actually backed it, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I was aware of this thing, but I had no interest in backing it because I'm very much old school. I like my old computers rather than a new computer. So I didn't really see the point of it. But I've been following it online for the last while, and it just got me thinking. I thought, this is a brand new computer that's coming out. They're bringing out a new Dizzy game. There's going to be a lot of support for it, I think. And I just thought, you know what? The last time I bought a brand new computer model, it would probably be the Commodore Amiga. So I thought, fuck it, I'm in. So yeah, I've pledged. I'm getting kind of the basic model. I mean, there's different levels. I'm getting the basic model. It's got the proper keyboard and that kind of thing on it. So I think it's due to get released in January. So I'm quite excited about it. Like I said, it was a complete U-turn. I wasn't going to touch it, but I've just kind of got pulled in with the hype. In fact, I noticed Vectrex Rolly, he's backed it as well. So I think it's going to be good. I mean, you've got guys like Jim Bagley, who's been instrumental in sort of helping the design. He's been, programming. It's also got sprites as well. So it's a completely new computer, which just happens to be 100% compatible with the Spectrum. So yeah, looking forward to that. So anyway, let's crack on with the questions. It's actually quite dark in here, but I notice if I turn the light up too bright, it starts to get a bit kind of hazy looking. So I'm just going to stick with this. Right, kicking things off, Craig Wilson. What is your favourite arcade racing or driving game, and would you ever consider doing a video on the history of driving racing games? My favourite arcade, I presume you're talking about a game that came out in the arcade, Craig. My favourite driving arcade game, I think it would have to be Outrun. I know that's quite a cliched answer, but I think it would. I never really played any of the games after that, Ridge Racer, Daytona. I never played any of these games at all. I think it's got to be the sit-down version of Outrun. Even now, it's an awesome experience. You've got the movement and that kind of stuff, and it's got music to absolutely die for. So I think it would have to be Outrun. Would I do a history of racing games? As you know, it's a big subject to talk about. I mean, I think you'd have to concentrate on either arcades or a specific system. I mean, I put out a video this week actually. My favourite driving games on the Commodore 64, and it's proved quite popular. I mean, as I try to tell people, it's by far but it's absolutely not the best driving games. I mean, some of the games I picked, like Motor Mania, is god awful, but it's a game that I played a lot back in the day. So it's a game that I've got a lot of sort of emotional attachment to it. It wasn't the best driving games. It was 5 games that I had, a lot of love for back in the day. So would I consider doing a history of driving games? I think I would. I mean, it'd be interesting to look at the arcades, just see how far they've become from Sprint which was a little black and white cars, right up to, I mean, I don't even know what the modern kind of arcade driving games are like now, because there's no arcades nearby. But stuff like Daytona and that, you know, it's definitely an interesting one. I'll maybe take a wee note of that, Craig, and certainly contemplate doing it. Excuse me. Anyway, Craig, thanks for the question. Ian Hunter, I have been fortunate enough to meet Jeff Minter on a couple of occasions and would love to sit down and have a beer with Rob Hubbard. I can never pronounce that. Rob Hubbard. My question for your Friday Waffle is, have you ever met a commercial game coder in person? If not, who would you like to meet? I'm I'm quite fortunate that because I'm 50 years old coming up. Well, I'll be 50 in October. I've been into this hobby, you know, since 1983. I've been online forums since 2000. So I've met quite a few coders. I mean, quite a few of my mates program games. Guys like Gary Liddon. I mean, I've met Gary quite a few times. He comes along to our computer club. Gary, I mean, I'm trying to think what games he's programmed. He's worked on Crackdown on the Xbox 360. He worked with Thalamus Software, who did like Sanction Delta. Jim Bagley, I've interviewed Jim. I've met him. I met him at Glasgow last year, talking away to him. In fact, I said to him tonight that I would go and talk to him when I see him in Glasgow. And when is it? Next month, actually. I've met Jeff Minter quite a few times. I mean, at any time I'm at any of these shows, I always go across and have a blether with him. Anyone else? Steve Snake, one of my mates. I interviewed Steve fairly recently in a Blind Mates Only. I mean, Steve done a lot of games. He programmed, what do you call it? Rodland on the C64. He single-handedly programmed Bomberman on the Xbox 360. He did NBA Jam on the SNES. He's done tons and tons and tons of stuff. Anyone else? Andy Roberts is another good mate. Andy worked on Creatures. I think he did the graphics. I don't know if it was the first one or the second one, but I know he's involved in that. So yeah, there are quite a few guys. I mean, programming wise, who would I like to meet? I suppose if I'm honest, I mean, somebody like I would love to sit down and talk to Andrew Braybrook. I know I think he's impossible to actually get a hold of, because he doesn't really talk about the old games anymore. Oh yeah, another guy, I mean, that I spoke to obviously was Kevin Toms, who programmed Football Manager. I interviewed Kevin, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. That was really, really good. But yeah, I'd love to meet Andrew Braybrook and have a chat with him. I would also like to talk to, who else would it be? Tony Crowther, who did a lot of the early C64 games. Loco, Potty Pigeon, Monty Mall, Griffin, Black Thunder. He did Captive, I think it was, on the Amiga. He worked for Gremlin Graphics and Alligator Software. So yeah, I'd like to talk to these guys because they made games that I played, so it'd be interesting to hear their kind of thoughts and anecdotes on, you know, the industry back in the day. So yeah, thanks for that, Ian. Appreciate that again. Panther UK. I'm actually struggling to see this. I may have to turn that light up a wee bit. If you had to get rid of all your systems bar one, oh blimey, taking its library into consideration, which one would you keep and why? If you had to get rid of all your machines bar one, what would you keep and why? I mean, the obvious answer would be my MAME cab, but that's probably cheating because there's so many thousands of games in MAME. If there was one system that I had to keep, I think I would probably go for the Commodore Amiga. Now, the Commodore 64 is a fantastic system. It's the system that I grew up with. I've got a lot of fondness for it. But a lot of the games in the C64 now, games that I thought were amazing, they've not aged particularly well, and I think I would probably start to get a bit kind of fed up with it. But the Commodore Amiga, it's got arcade games, it's got fantastic sports games, it's got everything. And I mean, I've got a CF card inside it, so I've basically got access to, I think, about, I don't know how many thousand games, every game you can possibly think of. Yeah, I think I would go for the Commodore Amiga, would be the system that I would want to keep. So anyway, thanks again for the question. Carol Todd, there have been several movies based on computer console games over the years, but most have received bad reviews from the critics. Are there any gaming-based movies that you have enjoyed? I've never seen the Mario Brothers one. I know that's meant to be absolute pish. I've seen a few of the Resident Evil films, and they're not actually that bad. They're not too bad. Oh, I'm trying to think of anything else. Mortal Kombat. I think I've seen Mortal Kombat. Street Fighter, I love to bits. I think it's a great film. It's crap. It's absolutely diabolical. The acting is atrocious, but it's so bad that it's good. Computer games, I mean, Doom. There was a film, Doom, with what's his face, him that's in everything these days, The Rock. Can't remember what his name is. I'm just trying to think. I mean, Pixels, that's not based on a computer game. I actually quite enjoyed Pixels. Christ, I'm just trying to think of any film that's based on a computer game. It would probably have to be one of the Resident Evil films, I think. I mean, I can't think of any one particular one, so that was really good. You know what? Probably later on, if I'm watching this video back, I'll go, what about that film, Alan? But right now, I can't. I'm actually struggling to think of a film that's a film based on a video game. There's not been a Star Wars one. There's been... Well, it has been a Star Wars one, but the games are based on Star Wars. There's been Assassin's Creed. There's also been... Was it Prince of Persia? Which wasn't very good. I'm going to have to be boring and just go for... I'm just going to have to go for one of the... what do you call it? One of the Resident Evil films. I've seen a few of them. I think I've seen 3 and they weren't too bad. I just can't think of anything offhand that's been that's particularly stand out. So anyway, thank you for that. I think you've got a part 2 actually. Also, is there any game that you think would make a good movie? The thing is, there's games. I mean, a game that to me is almost a movie is The Last of Us. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but it's an amazing story. It's a video game, obviously, but the storyline drags you in. You get emotionally attached to the characters, and there's a few moments where you're like, you know, it just gets you. It kind of hits you quite hard. So I suppose, would that make a good film? It might do if they got the right characters. You'd obviously have to get, what's his face? Bloody hell, see me with names now as I'm getting older. What is he called? He plays Wolverine. Hugh Jackman. You would need to get Hugh Jackman as, is it Joel, I think it is. And then you also need to get a wee lassie to play the part of the wee girl. But yeah, I think Last of Us would be quite a good film. I mean, you've got Resident Evil, is it 7? You could say, oh, that'd be a great film, but that's no different from any other kind of horror film that you've seen in the last probably 10 years. But I can't think of any other game that would say, oh, that would make it. I mean, you know, my favourite game, one of my favourite games is Robotron. That would just make a ridiculous film. You know, I think the games based on computer games, films based on computer games, most of them have been absolutely pish. So you can't take a really good game and turn it into a great film. I just don't think it really works. But yeah, I'd probably go for The Last of Us, I think. So anyway, listen, Carol, thank you for the question. Right, Mark the Morose. Now I like this one. I did have a quick look at this one. I'm all out of retro and gaming questions for now, so here are some on a different theme. Do you have any interest in drones? Do I have any interest in them? I do have. I bought a little drone thing a couple of years ago. Can't even find it, so that tells you how much I'm into it. It cost me about, I don't know, 50 quid. But one of my mates, he has got a really fancy dancy one, and some of the videos that he puts up, him and his kids on bikes, and is absolutely astonishing. Now I said to him, "Oh, can you send me the link? I might get one." But this thing's about 800 quid, so I'm not going to go spending £800. I'm intrigued with it. I mean, I've some of the races that I've done, people have actually videoed the race from a drone. I mean, drones now, they obviously they give you an opportunity to film stuff that you simply would never get to see without them. I mean, I saw a video fairly recently, and it was a drone actually inside a firework display, but rather than looking up at the fireworks, it was actually inside the fireworks, and it's amazing. I mean, the same as you get some of these drones going into like abandoned buildings and abandoned theme parks, and it's incredible. It's incredible, the footage, but I think you've got to be pretty good to fly the thing. Although saying that, my mate did say that that thing he's got, you can make it take off if you take your hands off the, I was going to say the steering wheel, the controls, it will just sit and hover, and if the battery is going to run out, it'll tell you and it'll actually return to base. So if you're flying it in a straight line, when it gets to a point where it's either going to run out of battery or it's going to go too far away, it'll automatically stop and come back. So yeah, I mean, would I buy one? Maybe if they come down in price, I might think about getting one, but I think it's one of these things where it would be a bit of a novelty thing for me. But yeah, definitely interested in them. Number 2, if I can find it. Yeah, drones. What about 3D printing? 3D printing is not something I've ever. I mean, I've obviously seen. I've watched videos. I know what it is. It's not something that, you know, I've really got any comment. I've not got any opinion on it either one way or the other, basically. But saying that, I did actually order something to get printed in 3D. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm going to wait for this thing to arrive and show you. But I had to get a part, and the only way to get the part was to get it printed in 3D. And fortunately, there's a guy that lives about 10 minutes from the house. I sent him the plan, and he printed off 2 bits for me, which need to fit inside this thing. I'm not going to tell you what it is. So yeah, would I get a 3D printer? Probably not. I think it'd be one of these things that you would probably, when you first got it, you'd be printing bloody key rings and stupid things that really have no benefit. I don't think I've got any use for a 3D printer for anything else. So it might be one of these things. Maybe they come down in price. I don't know how much a 3D printer is. It might be one of these things. Eventually, everybody will have one. But right now, I've not got any massive interest in one. Have you ever eaten a deep fried Mars bar? Yes, probably in 1997, through in Glasgow. It was the big thing, and I decided to buy one. And I've got to say, it's actually really nice. If you've ever had a Chinese meal, you'll know that one of the sweets you can get is, what do you call it, a banana fritter. It's basically a banana inside batter with syrup. Well, it's kind of similar to that, the Mars bar. You've got the Mars bar inside, which is obviously very sweet. Then you've got the batter around it. I've only ever had the one. You know, I wouldn't recommend it as part of a sort of calorie controlled diet. So yeah. Right, I've just stuck the light up a wee bit because it was getting a wee bit dark. Excuse me, I'm always conscious of scratching my feet when I'm making these videos. Ah! Yeah, right, okay, listen, thanks for that, Mark. I have indeed had a deep fries Mars bar. Right, John Yin. When you take on a role in a game and are given the choice to construct a character, what do you aim for? I usually try, because I wouldn't say I'm bald. I mean, I shave my head if I didn't shave my head, I would have a full head of hair. I've been shaving my head, shaving my hair I should say, for, I don't know, since the year 2000. So I generally regard myself as a bit of a skinhead. Now, as you can probably tell from the videos, I tend to grow stubble and then I shave it off, and then I grow a beard and then shave it off. So I generally, if I'm making a character for myself, I'll usually go for a baldy person with maybe a little goatee beard or a full beard, whatever, because that's what I kind of see myself as being like. Possibly other people see me completely different, but yeah, I generally go for somebody with no hair and some facial hair, because that's where I see myself. Second part, excuse me, I'm just scratching my foot. Where do you see mass market gaming heading? Do you think the console market will move closer towards the PC model, i.e. a user will augment a base model, or as emerging trend, the big boys will continue producing new upgraded units every 2 to 3 years, or will the console market and mass market be heading towards a cliff? Where do I think the console market will move? I don't think we'll ever get to a point where you buy a base PlayStation and then you add bits to it. I don't think you'll get that, for the simple reason is they're making too much money doing what they're doing. I mean, personally, I'm getting a bit, I wouldn't say fed up's the right thing, but I kind of roll my eyes when I hear they're talking. I mean, they've already, obviously the PlayStation 4 is what, 3-4 years old, something like that. It's not 4 years old, because I got it after starting my YouTube channel. I've not been doing this for 4 years. The PlayStation 4 is maybe, I don't know, 3.5 years old, something like that. We've already got a new PlayStation, albeit called the PlayStation 4 Pro, but it's still an upgraded version. And there's a sort of a train of thought that they're going to bring out a new PlayStation is at the end of next year. So it means that the PlayStation Pro is only going to have been out for, I don't know, maybe 2 years. I just think they're bringing out machines too quickly, but they're doing that because they're making lots and lots of money over it. And I think that's why I don't see ever, I mean, we've never had a console that you can upgrade. Yeah, you could get maybe add-ons like the Mega Drive, you had the Mega CD, the 3DX, not 3DX, what do you call it? 32X I should say. But I've never known a console where you can add bits to it, make it more powerful, change the graphics card. I mean, basically that, if you're going to go down that road, you're better off just sticking with a PC. So I don't see it. I think they're making too much money. I think they can punt out a machine and then 2.5-3 years later they'll punt out another one, and people will continue to stay loyal to that trend and just keep upgrading. So I think for that reason, I don't see it ever getting to a stage where you buy a base console model and then you upgrade it, you know, depending on how you see fit. Might be talking complete bollocks, but we shall see. Is the console market in mass gaming heading towards a cliff? No, I don't think so. I'm not quite sure what you're getting at there. Do you think it's going to be like, you know, the mass crash of 1983 in the States? I don't think that's going to happen. I think certain parts of this industry will die. I mean, I'm still not convinced that virtual reality is going to be here to stay. I mean, look at 3D TVs. They don't make them anymore. You don't even used to get a 3D channel on Sky. You don't get that anymore. I think certain aspects of it are going to die, but I mean, look at the Nintendo Switch. They've now reintroduced cartridges, albeit little SD size cartridges. But yeah, I think there's too many people enjoy playing video games. There's too much money getting made in this industry that I really don't think it's going to suddenly stop. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope not. At least as long as it keeps going for the next 20 odd years, and it'll see me off anyway. Yeah, I was talking about cheats. saying why do games not have cheats anymore now. John's come up with quite an interesting thing. Regarding your question about cheats, I think it's dependent on the developers really, but you'll find that most of these projects will have backdoors, etc. It's just that maybe the average user nowadays will not be able to peer into the raw code, breaking the systems down and implement cheats as we used to be able to do. When an engine, say, is open source, that is when the fun begins. Look at the Doom modding scene. If you haven't done it, please do try Brutal Doom at the very least. I think I've got Brutal Doom in my PC actually, John, and it is good. You're probably right though in terms of the final product not having cheats via the menu buttons, as executive decisions are made not to allow cheats. Why? Hard to say, but I would imagine the developers are close to their baby and want their cherished one to remain intact and played as they as they desire. I do understand this as using, say, Tomb Raider as an example. If the game was to dish out infinite ammo upgrades, the core of the experience would be lost. As is the struggle, on to page 2, as is the struggle to survive and progress in the game. You do make an interesting point though, as this creates a barrier for some across all genres. Obviously the devs look at their target demographic when making design decisions, and perhaps gamers who aren't so skilled are no longer a consideration outside of a general difficulty setting being implemented. That's quite depressing, John. What you're saying is I'm obviously too shite. But yeah, you're absolutely bang on. I don't know what the average demographic of a game now on a PS4. I would imagine it's probably 20 to 30 years old, something like that. That's probably where the most of the money is. And yeah, I don't doubt for 1 second that my age is definitely detrimental to my ability. I was never a particularly good gamer, but I think I'm alright. It depends what type of game it is. Shoot 'em ups I love. I spend a lot of time playing them. But yeah, my reactions will be slower than what my 17-year-old reactions were. So I think, yeah, they've got to position the difficulty to kind of for the mass market, and that mass market is not 50-year-olds like me. It's going to be guys younger. And yeah, I know what you're saying. I can imagine one of the hardest parts of designing a game is, apart from the graphics and the levels and all that kind of stuff, is just getting the difficulty bang on. How many games have we played from the early days where they're just too damned impossible or else far too easy? A game that's too difficult or a game that's too easy can make or break a game. So getting it just bang on is obviously quite a difficult thing. It's quite a fine art. And so I suppose you're right, if we could just go in and give yourself infinite lives, whatever, then that is going to affect the experience. I'm not a game developer, but I can imagine game developers spend a lot of time trying to hone the experience, hone the difficulty, the levels, for people to get the maximum amount of satisfaction. So if you can just have infinite ammo, then you're going to lose some of that. So I do get it. I would still like to see it as a feature in a game that you can unlock if you want, but I do understand why they don't do it, because if you played a game, just say for example, I don't know, Call of Duty, if you could have infinite ammo and vulnerability, then you'd run through the game in a couple of hours, and then when the next Call of Duty game comes out, you might think, I don't want that because it was kind of too easy. So the fact that you were on infinite ammo could tarnish your experience of the game. You're not going to get any satisfaction out of cheating at a game. So yeah, there is possibly that as well, John. So listen, thank you very, very much for the questions. Yeah, brilliant. Right, the ever reliable Mr. Retronic Collector, Tony. Thank you very much, Tony. I always like your questions because you're always very generous. Number 1, you win some money on the Euro Millions lottery as the second prize winner. Not first, second. And it's approximately £350,000 with a lucky dip ticket that you bought at a local newsagent's. I love how you're so specific. Brilliant. What would you spend the money on? Ah, bloody hell! I'm sure you've already asked my question about winning lots and lots of money. Apart from obviously like a fast car and a big house, what would I buy? I would buy a Robotron cabinet. I would buy a Star Wars sit-down cabinet. I would definitely get myself a nice big cinema type thing. Gaming wise, I would buy myself the Sharp X68000. Yeah, and what else would I buy? I think that's it. I'd probably get. I'm old school. I've always fancied a Lamborghini. A Lamborghini, that's what I would get as my car. Yeah, and I'd possibly get a large house with a huge big, basement, and I would just have tons and tons of cabs. But I'd obviously pay somebody. I'd have 2 engineers on call 24/7 who could obviously maintain the cabs and keep them going. So yeah, that would be rather nice. Number 2, what's your favourite 5 handheld systems that you own and why? My favourite 5 handheld systems. What have I got? I mean, I've got quite a few up there. I like the 3DS, the Nintendo 3DS XL. It's got a nice big screen and the 3D really works. That's really good. I mean, you don't need glasses or anything. I've got the newer model, which I think it follows your eyes, so you've always got the sweet spot. The original one, if you moved your head slightly too much to one side, you would lose the 3D. So yeah, the 3D XL. My Nvidia Shield Portable, I love that because it emulates everything, absolutely everything. So that would be definitely one that I would like. I like the original Game Boy because I've got a lot of happy memories. I've got, all the games that I played, Tetris. But it would have to be the one with the backlight. That was a mod that my mate done. I wouldn't want the one without a backlight. So that's 3. What are other handhelds? I've not got a Lynx. I've never owned an Atari Lynx. Quite fancy getting one, but again, I can play all the games on the the Nvidia Shield Portable. I've always liked. I'm not a big fan, I've got to say, of the PS Vita or the PSP. I don't know why. I'm just not too keen on it. One of the consoles I do like a lot, I like the form factor, is the Game Boy Advance, the clamshell. Sorry, Game Boy Advance SP it was called. Better known as a clamshell. The wee one is a snapshot. I forgot it. There, it's there actually. Oh no, it's not. In fact, hang on a second. There it's there. Oh, wait a minute. I need to show you this one as well, and also my pickup. Yeah, this one as well. Trying not to ruin everything. I think I'm actually picking 6. Or is this? No, this is the third one. That's the little clamshell. This one's got the turn it on. You know what's absolutely crazy about this? I have not charged this since I bought it. The battery just lasts and lasts and lasts and lasts. It's absolutely insane. I mean, it's got 2 brightnesses. That's the duller one, and you've got the extra bright one. This is it's got the better screen, which has got a much brighter. I think it's backlit rather than forwards lit. So Game Boy Advance SP, love that. I like the fact that it's snapshot like that and it's small, it can go in the pocket. I also like this one. I sound like that advert for Lidl's. I like this one, but also like this one. This is the original Game Boy Advance, but again, it's got to have the backlight. This is an amazing little machine. My mate Joe fitted the back screen. It's just got such a glorious little. Yeah, it looks really nice. So yeah, the Game Boy Advance with the backlight, and the last one I would go for, I think this might be number 6 actually, so I'm kind of cheating slightly, is this. This is an awesome little machine. I've showed you it before. This is the Pandora handheld, which was it wasn't a Kickstarter as such, but it was a group of people that I wouldn't even bother turning it on. A group of people built it. It was enthusiasts built this from the ground up. It's quite rickety. I mean, it's that kind of isn't shut properly, but it's a fully fledged PC. It's got Linux on it. It runs all the emulators. I mean, for such an old machine, I mean, I think it's only like, I don't know what kind of speed. It's not a particularly quick machine, but it even emulates the PlayStation. So my Pandora, I was going to sell that maybe 3 years ago, and my big mate Mark, Lactobacillus Prime, convinced me not to do it. He says, hang on to it. You never see these on eBay. I mean, very, very, very occasionally, but that's my last one. So that might be 6. So I'm going to have 6 if that's okay, Tony. Number 3. What's your views on the original Ghostbusters film? Did I not mention that last week, Tony? Yeah. If you're of a certain age, you would love Ghostbusters. Cracking film. Thing I liked about the original Ghostbusters, it came out before CGI, so you went away from the cinema thinking that looked amazing. The ghost effects were great. Nowadays, you never ever think, oh, that was great special effects, because you just take it for granted. I mean, even adverts on TV now have CGI, so you totally take it for granted. You never ever come away from the latest Star Wars film and say, oh, that looked incredible. You just accept it as, yeah, whatever. But back in, was it 1984, 85 when Ghostbusters came out, it was so unique, and you know, Bill Murray is an amazing actor. He's got a great sense of humour, almost a Dan Aykroyd, and I can never remember the other guy that played. I can't remember his name offhand. I know he sadly passed away. But yeah, original Ghostbusters is a classic film. So many great films from the 1980s. Number 4, what game do you tend to play time and time again? What game do you like playing? I play Robotron a lot. I play Berserk a lot. On home consoles, is there a particular game that I play a lot? I don't think so. No, generally the games that I do, I mean, I play a lot of games, but the games that I go back to repeatedly are on the main cab. Robotron 2084, 1942, Terra Cresta, Slap Fight. All these games, all the shoot 'em up games, I love, absolutely love. So anyway, Tony, thanks again, mate, for your questions. Right, moving on. Acidonia 1507, or was that? Oh, you know what? Is it Acidonia 15? It tells you the number of hours ago that you posted it. You were talking about needing reading glasses, and it made me wonder, why are subtitles in video games so small since the 360 PS3 era? The biggest offenders for tiny subtitles I know of are Witcher 3, Sleeping Dogs, and Choplifter HD. Choplifter HD? Didn't even know that was a game. Then there's the Skylander series where none of the movie cutscenes of the bad guys ever have subtitles, but the rest do. One series that does subtitles right is Left 4 Dead, because everything is subtitled, including the sound effects. So I can't think of any other games that does that with the sound effects. Why are subtitles so small? You know what? I can't really see I've noticed many games with subtitles. I mean, if I do get subtitles on a game, I'll always turn them off because it kind of annoys me. But I do know some people do have problems with it. But I think it's possibly just an age thing. You might be better getting yourself a decent set of glasses. But one interesting thing, I was at the pictures. What did I go to see? Guardian of the Galaxy 2, and my mate mistakenly booked us into a film, a showing with subtitles. So it was slightly annoying. I mean, I was trying to kind of not look at them. Eventually kind of got to a point where I was able to switch off and not actually pay attention. But for the first half an hour, I just kept looking at the subtitles rather than actually looking at the film. So yeah, I mean, you think, you know, the point of subtitles is people need to be able to read them, so making them small just doesn't sounds a bit daft. Number 2, why is it with long running video game series everyone in them starts to swear more than the sequels? Just look at Resident Evil 1 to Resident Evil 7 for a good example of this. Yeah, I know what you mean. Resident Evil 1 was the original. There was no swearing, it was just innocent. Whereas now, it's the language is pretty bad. I'm not offended by swearing myself, but it always feels forced in video games and comes off as childish and lazy writing, despite the fact games that do this are not aimed at children. It's also a video game only trend because movies and TV shows tone it down to get a larger audience instead. I mean, does swearing add or detract from a video game experience? I think if the acting is good, then it's okay. I mean, I can imagine if you were taking part in a real war game, if you were fighting, you know, you're in the army fighting, there's going to be a lot of swearing. So I think having swearing in like a Call of Duty game or a Battlefront game, whatever it is, it's going to add to the experience because that's kind of what it's going to be like. So I don't have an issue. But yeah, I totally get it. I mean, the thing about some of the games, like, what do you call it, Grand Theft Auto 5, my daughter loves the mechanics of the game. She loves the fact that you can just drive about and drive up a hill and you can go for a swim. But I won't let her play it because of the swearing. And it's a shame. I don't know why they don't have an option to switch swearing off. You know, yeah, they're trying to kind of make it more grown up now. You know what I mean? But I do totally get what you're saying. Sometimes it just feels like it's been flung in just to try and make it, you know, hip and cool, which, you know, it doesn't really. But anyway, listen, thanks for your questions again, man. Fantastic. Right, Scott Retrohawk. With collections becoming more and more valuable, how important do you think it is to insure your consoles and games? Do you insure yours? I know most will come under house insurance, but perhaps some would need to be individually itemised. Cheers. You know what, Scott, you're absolutely right. I mean, my collection, I don't know how many systems I've got. I've maybe got 50 different systems, lots of games. I mean, I've got no idea. I mean, my main card, I don't know. I would hazard a guess and say £5,000 all my stuff's work. It's hard to tell. You know, there's little things that I've got that, you know, you think, you forget how much these things are worth. But I must admit, I've been thinking a lot about this and I've never done it, but I really need to make a point of doing it. And it's actually taking a photograph of everything that I own and putting a value against it for a number of reasons. One, if, you know, God forbid there was a fire and I came back and I lost everything, I simply could not remember half of the stuff I've got. I mean, I've got stuff in that loft. I go up to that loft sometimes and I find things, I'm like, I didn't even remember I had that. You know, it's just insane. So there's a lot of stuff that I'd completely forget about. The other point is, I'm not getting any younger. I mean, sadly, a friend, one of my mates, best pals, he passed away this week with cancer. He was only 46 years old. So unfortunately, we're getting to that kind of age band where these things are getting more common. Now, if I pop my clogs and go to the big arcade in the sky, my wife and daughter have got absolutely no concept or idea of A, what I actually have, what it is, and secondly, if it's worth anything. They wouldn't have a clue. I mean, my Neo Geo thing up there, that's worth maybe 300 quid. They wouldn't have a clue. They would look at that and go, I don't know, don't even know what that is. So I really, really need to make a point. I mean, you know, I'm glad you've asked the questions. I think I will definitely make a point of just getting my camera and just taking pictures, even taking a picture of the shelf, because I can take a picture of that and I can see I've got my, you know, my Jaguar, my PS4, my PlayStation 1, my Neo Geo, my Xbox 360, and I can take a picture down there as well. So I might actually do that, because like I said, if I was to kick the bucket, they wouldn't have a clue what I've got or anything. So yeah, I think it's, I mean, I don't have any one item that's worth big money. Like I said, maybe my main cab's worth, I don't know, 500 quid. I've no idea. I don't have any old things that are valuable. I mean, I've got my Atari 800. It's maybe worth, I don't know, £200-300, something like that. But yeah, it's a really good point you've made there, Scott, and I think it's one that you seriously need to think about doing. But thanks again, Scott. I appreciate your questions again, mate. Right, Kev, down the rabbit hole. Hi Alan, I'm not sure if the new Call of Duty interests you, but considering they are going back to World War II, it makes it slightly retro, I guess. Do you think this return to roots is a good idea? And what would a sequel be called? Someone made a joke they should call it something like Call of Duty 1940, so any sequels would be easy to figure out. And making a new game with 1942 in the title might trigger us old retro guys with some nostalgia. Pardon me. However, my question to you is, can gamers go back to World War II? I saw that, Kev. Now, firstly, I think the last Call of Duty game that I played was probably in the Xbox 360. I mean, I remember getting the very, very original, the very, very first Call of Duty on the PC, and I loved it to bits because it was, I think it was World War II, and really good. But then over the years, they've kind of become more up to date, I think. I've not played any Call of Duty that's come out in the last 10 years. I've not played. I really don't have any interest in it at all. Don't know why. I mean, I downloaded. I got, is it Battlefield 4? I think it is, for the PS4. Excuse me. I got that with, I think it was the, what do you call it, PlayStation Plus, and I've been trying to play it. I just find it a bit too difficult, I must admit. But yeah, I certainly think I would definitely be interested in getting a Call of Duty that went back to World War II. I mean, as I've gotten older, I've definitely got more of an interest in like the war, and I've definitely become more interested in stuff like that. So to be able to play a game with the visuals that like a PlayStation 4 could actually depict, I think it would be quite a gritty storyline. I think it'd feel pretty realistic. So yeah, I would definitely be all over a World War II game, and I think lots of people would be. So yeah. Secondly, are you looking forward to anything specific out of E3? I'll be honest with you, Kev, I don't. Considering I'm a gamer, I don't actually watch any of these things. One of my mates was talking about it, and somebody said, "Oh, this is." I think they posted a what do you call it, a Twitter link or something, and then somebody's like, "Oh, I'm going to be on holiday. I'm going to miss it. I can't believe I'm going to miss it." I've never ever tuned in to watch one of these things live. I can imagine I would probably quite enjoy it, so I might actually have a look to see. In fact, if you know, Kev, when it's going to be, when do they broadcast this thing? Is it put out live that you can tune in? I may watch it. I think the thing for me is because I'm not really a sort of a current gen gamer, that's why I don't have any real interest. My hobby is mainly older machines, as you know, so but yeah, that'll be interesting anyway to see. If you can let me have a link to where I could actually watch it, Kev, that would be even better. Excuse me. You're saying here that you're hoping for some sort of a better VR news. Yeah, I was talking about the VR, was it last week, the week before, I think it was. I would love to think that VR is going to take off, especially with PlayStation 4. That'd be awesome. If they start bringing out some proper games. I mean, can you imagine Grand Theft Auto 5 or I don't know, Skyrim? Can you imagine a Skyrim in VR? That would just be amazing. It really would be. Speaking of VR, I enjoyed your Polybius review, but did you ever hear the legend about Polybius? I did actually, Kev, yeah. If anyone doesn't know this, the myth says that in 1981 an arcade game with that name had addictive qualities, resulting in lines around it and people squabbling to play. Those who played the machine were rumoured to suffer hallucinations. Finally, Polybius, yeah, that's absolutely true. That's apparently true. As true as an urban legend can be. Finally, what is your opinion on the huge number of chunky pixel indie games being made these days? For me, the novelty is gone, and I'm a little tired of yet another new game trying to look like an old game. Do you agree? 196%, Kev. I've said that all along. I've got original machines. I don't need to have a PlayStation 4 try and draw a game that looks like an NES game. I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it to appeal to people who don't have Spectrums or never played an NES before. It's something a bit different. But to somebody like myself, who's got all the original systems, I don't want that. I mean, I've always criticised, I've got PlayStation Plus, and it just seems that every single game that comes out in it that's, well, I'm going to say free, you've got to pay for the membership, is one of these bloody expanded sprite pixely games. I want my next gen console games to look next gen. I don't want them to look like the NES or the Commodore 64, but I think they're here to stay. I mean, if you go to any of these computer shows, you'll get all these indie games, and they're all this, I don't know what it is. To me, it's almost like cutting corners. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the games, I mean, what's the one? Shovel Knight, which is a massive, massive game. It's beautiful. It looks amazing. I mean, it's like the if Carlsberg made retro games, that's what it would look like. I mean, they look superb. But yeah, I'm getting completely pissed off with them. I mean, I've got so many of these games on my PlayStation 4. I'll load it up and I'll go, oh, not another one of these things. So yeah, I'm getting completely scuddered with them as well, Kev. And the point you're saying here is, why can't indie developers make 3D polygon games? Is it too challenging? I don't know. I'm not a programmer. I can't answer that. But yeah, it'd be nice to see something a wee bit different, moving away from the pixelated things. I just get completely fed up with it. So anyway, listen, that is all the questions I've got. Thank you very much to everybody that took time to answer them. I mean, this video, I don't know how long it's going to be. Probably going to be about an hour again. So much for a short video, short waffle. But please keep the questions coming, guys. I mean, if it does get to a point where I've got too many, I hope you don't mind if I say, right, I'm going to not use that one this week. I'll save that for the week after. I will always use every single question I get, but I don't want... I think a video can run on for too long, and I think I'm possibly getting to that with this. You know, when it gets to an hour, people just switch off eventually. So anyway, thank you again. And very lastly, guys, it's just a shout out I want to do. I came across this guy. Obviously, I got, you know, a link on not Facebook, on YouTube, recommending you watch him, and I've since subscribed to him now. His video channel is called 20th Century Gaming, and he goes by the name of Mark. Now, I think Mark comes from a place called Sunderland, because I'm sure that's the football team that you mentioned you support, Mark. Now, apologies now, I call you a Geordie. To anybody that's not from the UK, a Geordie is somebody who comes from the Newcastle area, which is like the northeast of England. I don't know whether you are a Geordie, Mark, I'm not too sure, but Mark has got the Geordie accent, is very, very, very distinct. I'm just trying to think. Famous Geordies. Oh, I was going to say a Geordie. Cheryl Cole, dare I say, although she's from South Shields, I think it is. But yeah, Mark has got a very, very, very broad Geordie accent. Like I said, apologies, Mark, if you're not a Geordie, but you know what I mean. And the accent makes the videos entertaining. One thing about Mark's videos, he does swear a lot. Now, I've watched some channels, and the swearing can become tiresome. It feels like it's just been flung in just to try and make it seem, you know, cool or whatever. But Mark's not like that. Mark is kind of like myself. He just talks, he plays games, he does, you know, he'll do reviews. He's reviewed joysticks, different bits of hardware. He does a lot of gameplay videos, and they're brilliant to watch. I think I must have watched about 10 of Mark's videos this week. They're just so easy to watch. I find them really entertaining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the link to Mark's channel below. Go and check it out. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Do me a wee favour, guys, if you are going to subscribe to Mark's channel, just mention that you came, you know, you heard about the channel through myself. It's always nice just to kind of know where people are coming from. So as I said, he's called 20th Century Gaming, and it's Mark. And I said I will put a link in the comment section below. But go and check him out. It might not be for everybody, you know. He does swear a wee bit, but he comes across as a very, very nice person, and I just find his videos very, very entertaining. So go and check him out and subscribe if you like what you see. So that is it, guys. I am done. I'm actually getting really tired now. I'm going to go and get a wee cup of tea and then probably head to bed. So as usual, thank you to all the support. I notice I've just broken the 1,300 subscribers, which is pretty damned amazing. I mean, I think this time last year I had just broken 500 subscribers, and then in the space of a year I've gone up to 1,300. That's a lot of people. That is, you put 1,300 people into a room. That's a lot of people. It's so yeah, I'm really, thank you very much, guys, to everybody that watches the channel, that takes time to comment. You know, as I keep maintaining, commenting on videos, it lets people like myself know that there are people watching it, you know, and it's great having a bit of banter, a bit of feedback. I always do try and respond to every single comment. I mean, I think that's the least. I mean, that's one thing that does kind of piss me off a few times. I'll comment in people's videos and you never get any response back. And I'm talking about smaller channels, I'm not talking about big channels, because I can only imagine what it must be like. I mean, I get maybe, I don't know, maybe 50 comments a week on all my videos put together. And, you know, I try and go in every couple of days and reply to everybody. So these big channels with millions of subscribers, it'd just be physically impossible for them to do it. But I think it's the very least, if somebody can take time to watch what you're doing and ask a question or comment, at the very least you can read it and reply. That's the way I think anyway. So like I said, thank you very much to everybody that continually supports me and all the new subscribers as well. So that's it. I'm kind of starting to waffle now, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, guys, and I'll see you soon.